Well, all right, you guys. It's gotten winter in DC. It's gotten chilly. And the puppy boy is having his walk. Two quick things. This video is about logic. I was going to try to do something sitting outside yesterday or today, but I have somebody coming over for dinner, so I'll get it done now. Secondly, I'm sorry I didn't come on Friday at all, but I had an eye exam, and they gave me what do you call it? Some sort of drops on my eyes, and everything's okay except a pretty big thing, and I had to stay longer than expected. I told you I couldn't read. I wasn't reading well. Well, it's weird. My eyes, I can read all the way down there. I can read the names of signs, no turns, the restaurant sign, although I can't pronounce it, Ciento. But I've been doing it with my right eye. My left eye I can't see at all. And he told me about a gentleman who had come in at age 55. All his life, this gentleman had in one eye, he couldn't see. I guess it was 400, and his other eye was 20. The one eye was 400 to 20, or whatever the heck the ratio is. So anyway, it turns out I have cataracts in my left eye, and I can't see. My right eye's fine. So I have to go in and get that done. And that's, he said last time I was in, which was a while ago, that I was fine in this eye. So I don't understand. I'm not a doctor. But anyway, so long and short of it, I'm sorry I didn't come on Friday. And I hope it didn't alarm anybody for trading reasons, not for me. Okay, on logic, what I want to here, look at this puppy dog. See, there's a happy puppy dogs. On logic, what I want to tell you is I really think, I know every story we get in, the criminals, the criminals are able to attack. And if you listen to Gary Gensler, we have the deepest markets, greatest capital formation. If you listen to people who used to work on the Amex, it doesn't happen. They're not attacking. They're not. There's systems in place, and there's the counts that we give you are not complete. Well, yeah. I mean, the structure as it is right now, the criminals have access to all data and to computers. The SEC could require that there be complete data, but we have to do the best we can. Information it's not a level playing field. It's designed for people offshore to strip the micro cap and small cap markets of everything. And, at some point the country has to ask, when's enough about this? Why? I mean, I just ask a few questions. Why do traders in micro cap stocks need to use high frequency trading tools? What's the high frequency for in microcaps? Why do you need to remove the uptick rule in microcaps for short selling? Why can't someone selling stock in the microcaps world and the small cap world have to deliver shares before they sell? How's that? Before you sell. We have to deliver cash before we buy. Anyway, let's get on to logic. I've said to you for, I don't know, I've lost track of time, at least I'd say about 5 weeks, that logic's on the verge of getting its S4 approved, which is really Aubrey SPAC's S4 approved. That deal was announced in September of 2022. And the specifics of the deal I'm talking about is that Logic agreed to sell as a private entity its engine, its platform, its AI technology, its source of revenues and profit to called Data Logic. The division is called Data Logic, to Aubrey SPAC a year ago. The SEC has taken over a year to get approval, but you know, even a year should be enough time for the SEC. A friend of mine pointed out that the Empire State Building, he lives in New York, the Empire State Building was built in 1 year. So the SEC so far has taken longer than it took to build the Empire State Building to approve, a pretty perfunctory set of documents. Anyway, there were something like 70 comments over the last year from the SEC on that. Each and every one's been answered. The last comment was, how are you going to pay for it? And fair enough. It's like when you buy a house, everything's approved. Where's your check? Or wire the money, wire the deposit, whatever. So a couple of things on that. Data Logic went into the Aubrey SPAC, that's the proposed transaction, at a ratio, or at a price, of $114 million, $10 a share. So let me state it differently. Aubrey SPAC is going to issue to Logic 11,400,000 shares at $10 a share to acquire Data Logic. Aubrey SPAC, which is ASPA, currently trades essentially at $11. It's slightly less, but I didn't look. Like $10.85, $10.95, something like that. So it's basically up 10% from that price, and it stayed that way for months. You should know that three that I can think of, I can't give you the names right now, 3 recent SPACs whose deals were finally announced had a sort of a miniature squeeze. They went from 10 to 70 in the one case, 10 to 40-50 in the other, and 10 to 30-40 in the third that I looked at. This is possible here once this approval is done in the Aubrey SPAC shares. That might be worth a trade if you can afford to buy Aubrey SPAC. Pay Alpha Sam Paul Alpha, ASPA. You could buy that. Might be a nice trade. But anyway, that's one thing. Hang on, Lucky boy. Okay. See see, I can see that sign perfectly. Absolutely crystal clear. Only with one eye, and I didn't know it. Okay, so what's coming soon? Okay, sorry, the delay, the most recent delay from when I told you to get ready was that they wanted to know where the money comes from. Well, when you have a SPAC, when a SPAC is set up, it's a way of investors to get a high rate of return relatively safely, and they have a right to redeem their shares as the deal closes. That's happened. So Aubrey SPAC didn't have enough money, and the one negative here is there was a very expensive financing proposed, which was accepted, which with two funds that are one of the board members is close to. This is the most expensive deal you can imagine. They put up $5 million. My guess is they're going to make a profit of $15 million. How? They're going to be able to sell the Aubrey SPAC shares in a run-up soon. So, I mean, wouldn't we all love to be in that position where we could lend $5 million, make 10, 15, $20 million profit in just a matter of weeks? Well, that's the extent of the punishment of this financing. Remember, Gensler says we have the deepest, greatest capital formations in the world, markets in the world. Now, if we did, a company wouldn't have to give up 5 times potentially on value to get $5 million. But look, our system's broken. I'm not going to fix it. I've tried to fix it by talking about it. Everything is stacked against the small cap and the CEO and the investor. No company who needs to raise money, who needs capital, should ever go public in the United States over-the-counter markets, ever. It's just suicide. No company, in my judgment, should list in the other markets in the United States. They're all systemically a matter of fraud. But let me get back to logic. So this delay was about getting money. When I first read it all to you, I was alarmed that it was toxic financing. It's not. Why should it be? They're going to make so much money on the flip. Why get really greedy, right? But what's good for you is that and me, I own the shares. What's good for us is the deal gets done. And that financing was the last piece of the puzzle to get the deal done. If they hadn't gotten the deal done, I think you would have seen a lot of the other projects that Brent Sun, the CEO of Logic, has lined up drift away. So it's actually really good news that they took the financing, and down the road there'll be a deal that's cheap, you know. So you just got to do it. You got to hit while the iron's hot. So by taking the financing, to be repetitive, they're able to complete this S4. When does the approval come? I think very, very, very soon. And I've been saying that for weeks. But this time, the boy is crying wolf in several languages, ringing the bell, shooting off his shotgun, and all that. Okay. I'm trying to do this while I'm walking my dog. Let's just get to the value proposition here. You can buy, I brought these as I walked out the door. You can buy one share of Logic right now for 20 cents. I would be, I'll discuss it right now, but I would be willing to pay up to 30 cents. But I don't know. You got to use your judgment above there. Okay, that one piece of paper, piece of paper at 20 cents right now will become two pieces of paper at the end of the proxy period. So let's say the SEC approves the S4, I don't know, make it up, Wednesday. That will start a 10-day proxy period where at ASPA they have to vote to approve the over a year-long proposed merger, acquisition of DataLogic. You call it merger if you want, and the vote of the Logic shareholders. Well, I'm sure it's all, it's all lined up. Those votes are all lined up. That'll take 10 days. So let's say if next Wednesday, that's I don't know what that is, the 26th or something of September, 10 days. Let's go to October 15th just to give it a leeway. The vote is completed, and let's say a record date is set for October 16th, and the effective date is October 19th. Let's just pick that day, Black Friday. So what's today? The 25th. So in about 3 weeks, it should be done and dusted. I think you should get the SEC approval. You have the proxy period and the votes. You have the record date and the effective date. And then you're going to have two pieces of paper for one piece of paper. Now, let's talk about those two pieces of paper. If this is all so good, why is Logic stock down? LGIQ. Why is Logic stock down? I can think of three things that happened, one specifically and the other two that are ongoing. There was a fund out of Canada that had to liquidate. I guess the performance was bad, and this is what happens in Gary Gensler's markets. Just complete destruction in micro cap and small cap companies. So they liquidated, I can't remember now, I think it was 600,000 shares. It might have been less, might have been more, a couple of weeks ago, and they didn't. Good boy, it's okay. I'm sorry, sir, it's a nice dog you have. Sorry to have you look at me that way. People get up on the wrong side of the bed. Have a good day, sir. Puppy dog. He gave me a signal. That's the problem with this neighborhood. Anyway, Lucky didn't react. He's a big dog. I lost track. Okay, three things. One, the fund had to sell, and I think they sold it down to 13 cents, but they're gone. That's done. They sold. The second thing is that a lot of Logic has been short on cash for a while, and they paid a lot of their employees and contractors with stock. My understanding is some of that's being sold and has been being sold, and it's almost done. But I don't know the exact amount, but it's almost finished. People that get paid in stock just want to liquidate because they want cash. Thirdly, I just thought of, there were a lot of people left over from when the company was called Wayland or something, that I think have been selling in just, not liking the story. And that may or may not have any power anymore, but anyway, the final thing that's been going on is shorting. Now, some people say, oh, it's legal. It's all legal shorting. I don't believe it. Why don't I believe it? Because you're supposed to locate stock before you sell. That's the rules. And so just because you can sell, because you have the market maker exemption, you can sell Gary Gensler shares under the Gensler exemption, and you can cover it later in the day, day trading, your initial sale was illegal. But oh, you're a big account, you get to do it. Well, we don't. Go try to buy shares. Go try to buy shares in your account without fully paying for them. They might let you put in an order on, I can't think of a situation. But if you sell them same day, you can't do it. You're not allowed to do it. On the other side, in the level playing field markets, they are. So I think, anyway, they're short sellers who believe, and you can debate. I believe it's illegal. You can debate that it's legal. But they look at this deal where you can short logic even at 20 cents. You don't have to deliver data logic because it's being distributed. It's being distributed to the Aubrey SPAC. So they're not going to be caught out with that, and unless I'm misunderstanding. I'm trying to think it through. They're not going to get caught out by having to deliver. So they figure, look, the engine, the revenues, the AI, it's all going to Aubrey SPAC. Why not short this down to 5 cents? It's just a shell. So that's what's going on. You're given an opportunity here, I believe, to buy shares of Logic, even though there's so much good coming. It's how did the former president call it? There's going to be so much winning. You're going to win so much you get sick of winning, or something like that. Because these, either legal or illegal, I think it's all illegal, shorting and market manipulation, trying to drive the stock price down in the fairest, deepest capital formation markets in the world, you get to buy the stock at 20 cents Monday. Now, I think they're going to keep shorting, and I don't think you should get all running the stock up straight away. But here, let me tell you what you're going to get on the effective date. I'm holding my dog, so I can't use my hand. He's got to smell everything, which I love. At least he's happy. All right, so for today, tomorrow, you can buy 1 share of Logic for $2. You're going to get the shell, which the shorts are trying to drive down to 5 cents, 10 cents. They figure we can go out in the market, buy it, cover, and we make a lot of money. All right. On the shell side, I'm going to try to finish this in 5 minutes. On the shell side, Logic had a deal with a company called Privco. I guess everybody's in a bad mood because of the rain. I don't know, or they haven't had their coffee yet. Which they let expire in December or January as a reverse merger into the shell, which was going to be worth 40 to 50 to 60 cents a share to you, in value. These are values. And by the way, none of this is financial advice. I'm working through the logic of the Logic transaction. I don't know you individually, so it's impossible to give financial advice. So anyway, they let that expire. Now you could assume that it's because there's trouble or whatever. I assume it's because Brent has been able to see the cream of the crop, best deals ever, while the IPO market has laid fallow. And it's because he's found better deals. Higher higher revenues, higher profits, more substantive assets. So that shell, in my opinion, is going to do, I don't know the details, but it's going to do a reverse merger. And I would expect, because Brent is fighting the shorts, that shell will be announced before, during, or immediately after. Sorry, someone's smoking there. Immediately after the proxy period. So starting next week all the way through to the middle of October, say the 20th of October, let's just say in October, I expect that Brent will announce some deal that reverse mergers into the Logic shell. I think it'll be worth 60 cents. I think it could be worth 50 cents, 60 cents, 70 cents a share. My number is 60 cents for the Logic shell. Now, that will be value, and the Wall Street's all fraud, condoned by Gary Gensler. It's all fraud. So there may be pressure on the stock. On the other hand, I don't know the details. There may be additional deals they're going to add to bulk up that transaction. The transaction might be worth more than 60 cents because I'm trying to be conservative. I assume it will have an exciting story, maybe revenues that are significant, all sorts of things. It's an unknowable, but I would start with 60 cents as the value of the shell. You're paying 20 cents for Logic right now. The second part you're going to get is the Aubrey SPAC. Now, I think the Aubrey SPAC is, the deal's locked in stone. Remember, with the current SEC, they allow shorts to come in and destroy stock prices in order to have an effect on mergers and corporate action, such that if you drive a stock price down, it can destroy, using that word again, it can upset an agreed transaction. Doesn't bother the SEC. Only thing bothers the SEC is if the CEO somehow gets his or her stock price up. Then they want an investigation. Or the over-the-counter, the smiling faces at OTC markets want to take a look. Why is it up? They don't care if it goes down. But anyway, I get distracted by my pet peeve. Right now, Aubrey SPAC has a deal to buy Data Logic, which is in the before the SEC, in an S4, to buy Data Logic for 114 million shares at $10. The stock's trading at 11. If that deal goes through, that's worth about $1.10 to $1.15 to you. You get what's going to be called collective audience, $1.10, $1.15. Plus 60 cents, it's $1.75. You're paying 20 cents right now. But what could happen here to collective audience? The king of kings. There are other deals that are going to be added in probably right away, but let's say by November, December timeframe. And if that price can settle in at $20 or $25 a share, the Aubrey SPAC could be worth $240. That's my number, $240 a share to you. Now oh gosh, you can look it up, depending on whether you use Yahoo or OTC Markets or whatever. You'd have to divide about 100 million shares by 11 million to figure out the ratio. But on that part, you'll be distributed shares in Aubrey SPAC. I'm guessing somewhere between 8 and 10 something like that. I'd say 1 share of Aubrey SPAC for every 8 to 10 shares you have of Logic, and it'll be trading certainly above that $10 level, I think, but maybe it trades above 20, maybe above 30, maybe 25. Anyway, if it gets to 20 and they bring in some other deals, other revenue, other acquisitions, let's just say it goes to 240. Here's a flat, 250 P Street, 5-bedroom. It's all small. $2.7 million. P Street. I guess that's all right. Come on, lucky boy. All right, so let's finish this. So right now, for 20 cents, I think you can reasonably see, and I'm trying to be conservative, by the way, you're going to see 60 cents in the Logic shell in value. And I'm maybe aggressively picking $2.40 in the Aubrey SPAC. So you're getting 2 pieces of paper worth $3. 240 plus 60 cents is $3. Is that the limit? No, I think the stock by the end of the year, first quarter next year, could be, based on current metrics, based on the deal flow they have access to, could be worth $6 to $8. But just in the, let's say, next 90 days, I think you're looking at $3. So if you pay 20 cents, and I'm wrong, it's only worth $2. That's 10x on your money. If I'm right, it's more. If you paid 25 cents and it's worth $2.50 combined, that's 10x on your money. If you pay 30 cents and I'm right, it's worth $3 combined. That's 10x on your money in a relatively short period of time. The risks are, of course, everything. The fraud in the markets. The companies won't need to take toxic financing, so you won't have that problem. The other risk is, he used to chase squirrels. The other risk is if the market collapses. But as a boss of mine used to say at Merrill Lynch, it's no longer a stock market, it's a market of stocks. And these 2 pieces of paper could be excellent holdings. And that's about it. I think for 20 cents, I wouldn't pay more than 30 cents. Yet, I might change my mind if it goes up there. You can make 10x on your money. And I think I'm being conservative, and I think it'll be soon. This I'm putting out there because if you lost money in Finger, if you lost money elsewhere, you can, I don't know, you buy 10,000 shares at 20 cents, is that $2,000? And it becomes worth $250. It becomes 25 grand. I mean, or 20 grand. It's a nice little trade to make back some capital. Now, there's a couple things. Only one thing you need to know. On the shell side, you'll be able to sell, and I think a lot of people will sell. So that might tend to keep that price in that, 50, 60, 70 cents range. I don't know. We'll learn more. But on the collective audience, the Aubrey SPAC side, there'll be restrictions. I bet you only are able to sell a third of what you own right away. But I think by the time you get into next year, you're going to have a gain. You're not going to want to take your whole gain this year anyway. You'll be able to sell it next year. By then, you'll have so many more I'm predicting 3 more acquisitions piled in to the Aubrey SPAC, and it'll be worth more. So anyway, all right, I'm gonna leave. I'm rambling. And I'm going to leave it at that. I recommend, without it being financial advice, that you look at LGIQ tomorrow, Tuesday, Wednesday, 20 cents. I would be comfortable paying up to 30 cents. And I think you can see a 10x return in value very quickly. I'll try to have a video on on Finger and other things later, or first thing in the morning. All right, with that, I'm going to say goodbye. Wish you a happy Sunday, and peace.